All right, let's obviously the news of the day is Pat Mahomes.
Yep.
Were you now the deal is a 10-year, $503 million extension. What are your thoughts on this, Adam? Is that too much, too little, just right? What do you think?
All right, Rob. So here are the real numbers, and they're much NFL quarterback contracts. No matter how great they look, they're never as good as NBA contracts. NBA contract veterans are almost all fully guaranteed at signing.
Right.
This contract's not even remotely close to that. It looks great on the surface, but it's really not quite what's out there. And I saw Lee Steinberg's tweet. He's got 2 years left. It's a 10-year extension, but he's under their control for 12 years.
Right.
He's got 2 years left on his rookie deal. Then the 10 years kick in. It's a good deal, but it's not a great deal to me, based on what I know and my information gathering. There's no question it's team friendly. Now, if you're the other quarterbacks, if you're Deshaun Watson or Dak Prescott, at least you know what you could work off of. But there's no way that Dak Prescott's going to do a deal anywhere close to that. In fact, he wants a shorter deal. Russell Wilson, who had before this contract the richest contract in NFL history for a quarterback, his deal is he did a 4-year extension worth $35 million a year. So look, if you compare it, there's no question Russell Wilson's deal, in just terms of length and favorability, is better. But also, the Seahawks have the ability to get out of the deal a little bit earlier. And by the way, the Chiefs have a lot of ability to get out of the deal early. But the problem is, you're going to have to pay him so much money early on. You're probably not going to want to do that.
So is it not? I'm sorry, Rob, but are you saying it's not $503 million, or I've seen guarantee mechanisms for $477?
Yeah, that was what they put in there. Yeah, he puts $477 million in mechanisms. But what that means is, because this is the first time I've ever seen this, but I know what he means. If Mahomes is on the roster through, let's say, 9 or 10 years, he's probably going to he'll earn $400 million. But the problem is the Chiefs, and we don't know the structure yet. There's very little out there in this contract, but
right.
I've reported on these deals for years. The club almost always could get out of the deal early by, they'll pay him a decent amount of money, maybe half the contract, but they're not going to be responsible for even close to more than half of it. I just know the way that deals are done. It's just not. It's just not going to happen. That's not the way. Typically, NFL contracts now, the first 3 years for the best players are fully guaranteed for 3 years, and then the club could get out of it. So I'm thinking because this. Just one more thing. Because this deal is so long, the Chiefs are going to have a way to get out of it early. My guess would be after 5 or 6 years, but we don't know because the numbers are not available.
And Adam, that makes sense. I mean, when you see it to guarantee, especially in a sport like football, and I didn't see the magic word, which was guaranteed money, like when we heard Kirk Cousins' contract, it wasn't that long.
Right, it's at signing is the
that
term,
was
folks. At
exactly.
Right.
And there's a totally different thing.
Right.
I still think if I'm Patrick Mahomes, given where we are, pandemic, chance of getting hurt or whatever, why not take the money or as much guaranteed money as you can, not knowing what really is going to happen? Would you have not taken such a long-term deal?
I personally would not, but I'm not. I don't know what Mahomes' situation is. I would have liked to have taken no more than 5 years. That's really the structure now. Agents are going after shorter deals and trying to get out so you keep getting more deals. But here's the thing, though. The cash payout, if he's on the roster for so many years, is so high, and unless he gets hurt, he's probably going to earn it. Of course, now the one thing he has to have happen is Andy Reid does not need Andy Reid to retire early. That I'm not saying Andy is. Andy made it very clear he's going to be around a lot longer, but Andy's a special coach, and they have special chemistry. One thing I do want to add on Mahomes is the one mistake so many teams have made. So many teams did not like him. They thought the air raid offense was poor, didn't transfer well to the National Football League. His mechanics were very poor. That's true. So many teams missed on him, and he's the one quarterback that teams have told me privately they've admitted that they got it wrong. There's no question about it.
I got another thing on quarterbacks. Just help us with the Dak Prescott. Today is the 6th of July. They have to the 15th. Is there going to be a deal? And if you're Dak Prescott, Adam, and you see all these other quarterbacks, everybody in his draft class got paid, everybody, why haven't the Cowboys and Dak come to terms other than I get the 4 to 5 years is the difference? Is that really what the difference is and why he won't sign a deal for 4 years.
He wants
5 years
4.
instead
They
of
want
4.
5. Yeah.
Right, Rob, but yes, that's part of it. There's no doubt about it, guys. But the big thing is the Cowboys waited. On Fox Sports Radio, I've talked about a year about this. The Cowboys and Jerry Jones, who has personnel control, the owner, he tends to wait way too long to get deals done, and he overpays. He overpaid for Des Bryant's deal. So many deals we could go through over the years where he waited, and then he wound up paying too much. And the Ezekiel Elliott deal, I give Zeke and his agent credit. They held out smartly. They knew they had leverage. Remember the Emmitt Smith deal from really 26 years ago?
Yep.
After the first 2 games, the Cowboys went 0-2.
You got it. You're old. See, you knew that because you're old as I am, my friend. So you knew that. You haven't forgotten.
No,
probably older, but
we're reporters. We're reporters.
No comment on that. But look. Yes, the age Emmitt used leverage, and there's no question. Now the only thing is here with the franchise tags, the Cowboys could just tag him next year, but they have some challenges next year with contracts. So. And by the way, look, Dak knows he could just. There's no 5th-year option. He's under the franchise tag. He could just not sign it and make them wait. They have Andy Dalton as his insurance policy, just in terms of he's there. He'll be the fill-in until Dak signs his contract or signs a franchise tender. But if I know Todd France, his agent at all, Todd is going to want to make sure that he gets the best possible deal. Todd's one of the top contract agents, and I just don't see them taking a 5-year deal when you don't really need to do a deal that long. You really don't. You could just play on the franchise tag next year. You take a little bit of risk, but Kirk Cousins is the same thing.
Could
Adam,
be Kirk Cousins?
we've got about 30 seconds left. Do you think? I think that right before the 15th, Jerry will buckle and give him the 4 years.
That's what's funny. I've been on record saying I think they're going to get this done. They wait till the last minute. They have till 4 p.m. Eastern on the 15th. Let's see what happens. They're not going to. Jerry usually gets what he wants, but he pays more than he wants. That's kind of the way I would sum it up.
I'm going to say it won't happen. We'll have you on that day.
I tell you what, having Adam Caplan on, Rob, it pulled me down a few notches.
I was going to say, Chris, you weren't feeling as good. You were like, wait a minute,
gosh.
what? Well,
let's give the background for people,
okay.
And then we'll. So Mahomes signs a 10-year reported $503 million contract extension. Yes, $500 million. We know that they use the term guarantee mechanisms, whatever that means, for $477 million. We know if he gets hurt, there's an injury guarantee of $140 million. But then Ralph Irvin, didn't he say it was $10 million signing bonus?
That's all it is.
Which is bizarre that's all it is. And Adam was like, well, it's not as good as it looks. None of the NFL contracts are as good as they look. Okay, but how much less is it than it looks? You know what I'm saying? And it took me down. He even said they probably can get out of it in 5 or 6 years. I don't know. I mean, what I've been reading is that Mahomes has a no-trade clause. He wanted the security. He said this before they signed, Rob, weeks ago. I want to know that I'm going to be in Kansas City for the next 10 years or so.
Yeah,
and
but the only problem is how many great quarterbacks, we've all seen it, Chris. Most of them don't wind up finishing their career, and it's no knock on Mahomes.
Well, but he won't be done
whatever.
in 10 years.
No, I'm just saying.
I mean, most likely.
But people move on is what I'm saying is that that happens. But
he should still be in his prime in 10 years, right? And, barring some type of crazy injury, whether they wins more Super Bowls or not, he should still be in his prime in 10 years.
It's 12 years because you got to remember, Chris, you got 2 years added.
12 years. But
okay, so
he should still be rolling, in 12
that would
years.
make
He
him
won't be
that would
Peyton
make him
Manning,
37,
Tom Brady.
36 or 37, right? He's 24.
24, 12, 36, 37.
Yeah, that's 37. So I'm just saying, those last couple of years, he might not be there. He could be elsewhere. But anyway, Caplan, I'm not totally surprised, Chris, because this has always been with NFL contracts. I think he's on the level on this in that's what made when Kirk Cousins signed his deal. Remember, it was hard and fast. 3 years, Chris, fully guaranteed. Right. There was no flim-flam. We've all seen these contracts where
he was the first one to get it like that.
Right, but it was 3 years, and we knew exactly what the money is no matter what. and a lot of these other things. When they said that mechanism, that's the thing that threw it off for me. I had never seen that. Am I right? Had you seen that before?
Yeah.
Usually they say
the word that came to my mind, and I'm not saying this is accurate, was incentives. Right? That it's
like you have to reach certain things in order for it to kick in. Because normally what we see is it would say it's a $503 million deal and $350 is guaranteed. That's usually, am I right, the way that they break down NFL contracts. Right. This was totally different. And I don't know. It didn't sound like it was the cat's meow of contracts.
Well, the one thing I'll say about what Adam told us,
I would have signed it.
What Adam's saying to us was, he thinks that they can probably Kansas City get out in 5 or 6 years. I don't believe, Rob, this is all like lopsided like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't believe and I may be wrong, but I don't believe Kansas City's got outs that Patrick Mahomes himself doesn't have. And if he doesn't have those outs, I would bet the team doesn't.
I don't know about that. NFL's different.
But he doesn't have to play. You know what I mean? Like he didn't have to sign this.
No, I get that, but I don't know about NFL where guys have outs. It's a lopsided CBA, Chris. Players, even in the idea of a franchise tag and what the NFL can do by holding on to you, giving you that franchise tag, a lot of the stuff is in the favor of the owners, the language, the CBA. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And I think that's the only difference. You're thinking NBA or something where those guys have a little more leverage and they're able to negotiate and move and do their own thing. I don't know if the NFL's like that. I don't know if he has it. Now, I'm not an expert on it.
Right.
You haven't seen the contract. I haven't seen the contract. We're just speculating, right?
I just think things have changed a little. Because like you mentioned, I mean, before Kirk Cousins, nobody was getting most or virtually their entire deal.
He got a completely guaranteed contract.
Right.
It never happened.
Now that's the norm now. So and then you look at the trajectory Patrick Mahomes is on, I gotta think, and he's got Lee Steinberg's his agent. It's not like he's got some young kid that doesn't, hasn't really dealt on this level. He's got a great agent, so I just find it hard to believe that it could be as lopsided as maybe Adam Caplan was making it sound. Now, he's the football insider. He certainly knows more about it.
And it's talked to agents and different people, right.
But, look, the bottom line is Patrick Mahomes is fantastic. He's still on his deal. He's making $2.8 million, I believe, next year.
But I agree with the $10 million signing bonus sounds like nothing.
Oh, my God. I would think, now, I don't know. Are there rules in NFL deals where he just couldn't get more? I don't know. But I would think he'd have been able to demand way more than that. Way more.
Wouldn't you have liked to have put $50 million in the bank or something? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.